Hi friends, welcome back to another video. If you guys are new to my channel, hi, my name is Ali and I am a Dallas-Fort Worth based flight attendant for a major airline. And I vlog about the flight attendant life and I show you how I balance motherhood and the flight attendant life. So if that sounds interesting to you, make sure to click that subscribe button and set your notifications to all so that you never miss a video. So I am currently in Detroit sitting reserve out of base. This is just what I was called to do for. I'm normally not on reserve. I just bid reserve this month. And this is what I was used for. So I wanted to share with you guys a little story about how I was rejected from my dream airlines. I always get messages from people saying they were rejected and that they got the thanks but no thanks email. And I want to tell you that you are not alone. I was able to get my flight attendant job on the first try with my airline, but prior to that, I had actually interviewed with 2 different airlines as well. So I will let you guys know how all of that went and how I overcame that. So let's get into it. Have to start from the beginning. So I first decided to become a flight attendant in September 2014. That is when I applied and I became obsessed with the idea to become a flight attendant the minute I decided that that's what I wanted to do. I used to work at a bank. I was a personal banker and I was just miserable. It was definitely time to move on. And I went home the day that I decided to become a flight attendant and just put in all of these applications to every single airline that I could think of that was hiring. I applied for 3 major airlines and then I think 2 or 3 regional airlines. So the first airline to contact me was actually an airline that has their headquarters in Dallas-Fort Worth, and they actually invited me to do a video interview. Now, I had never done a video interview before. I was kind of surprised that that was the first step in the hiring process. So I pretty much had no YouTube channels to go back on and look and get information on what to do. So I pretty much just winged it and I put on a suit. I treated it like a normal interview and I sat behind a white wall and I answered all the questions. And then it was time to wait until they decided to call me for the face-to-face interview. At this time, I was living in Orange County, California, and I had a 2-year-old and my husband. Now I have 3 little boys, but at the time with a 2-year-old, it was definitely a time that we had decided to move out of California, and wherever I got based was where we were going to move. My husband had just gotten out of the military, so it was time. The dream airline that I'm talking to you guys about has their hub in Atlanta, Georgia. So they sent me an invitation to do the video interview. I passed it and I was so excited to move on to the next step. But they took forever to reply to me. So they finally got to me 3 weeks into my flight attendant training with my current airline, so I had to turn them down. So fast forward to a few months later, another major airline that I had already done the video interview for back when I was applying contacted me to do the face-to-face interview. And they flew me out to Dallas, Texas to do the face-to-face interview and I completely bombed it. I bombed the interview. When I look back at what my answers were, I'm like, well, no wonder I didn't get the job. So word of advice, don't ever say that you were miserable at your previous job, because that is obvious. You're not gonna get the job that way. I was still with my current airline, but you, as a flight attendant, you go through your times where you think, would I be better off in this airline, that airline, that airline? So sometimes a lot of flight attendants always apply to other airlines just to kind of test the waters. Hindsight being 2020, I am exactly where I need to be. I love my airline and I am absolutely happy where I'm at. And I don't see myself going anywhere. So fast forward to a few months later, I decided to give the Atlanta, Georgia airline another try. And I put in my application, I did the video interview, and a few days later, I actually got the thanks but no thanks email from that airline. And if you've ever received that email, you know how discouraging it could be. I was lucky enough to already have my flight attendant job, and I had been a flight attendant for close to 2 years already, but I just thought that I sat back and I looked at myself and I said, why am I not good enough? Like, what am I doing wrong? What is happening? What do I need to do? What could I have done better? And, I went through that little stage and that little period. I decided to move on and just accept it. But I decided to try one more time, and I said, this is the third time that I'm doing it. Let's see what happens. So, sure enough, they contacted me. I did the video interview. I passed the video interview, and they invited me to the face-to-face interview. So they flew me out to Atlanta, Georgia, and it was just so crazy being there. And at that point, I already had my YouTube channel, so I was able to meet a few subscribers there, and they were like, Allie, you're here. I can't believe you're here. Wait, what? Don't you work for another airline? And I'm like, yeah, but I just wanted to give this one more try just to kind of rule it out. So from what I remember, the interview process started out with a big group. So the big group where we were asked a few questions, and all eyes are on you. You can feel every single person that works in the HR department, or that's a flight attendant, or whatever. Everybody that works for that airline already, you can feel their eyes just looking at you the entire time. So we had to do that, and it seemed like I passed that part of the interview. I had to do a reach test. I had to do a jump seat test to make sure that I fit in the jump seat, and I had to do a few other tests. I can't remember exactly what they were, and I had to answer a few questions as well. And then we also had another group thing where we had to set up a cart, and I feel like I did okay with that too. Looking back, I think what did it was when I had to do the one-on-one interview with an HR person, and I want to take responsibility for whatever it is that I didn't do correctly during the interview, but I feel like it has a lot to do with you not vibing with the person that's interviewing you. It was just, we just didn't connect as much as I would have liked to connect, and I was walked out of the building, and I was told that they would contact me in a few weeks, and they actually took a very long time to give me my thanks, but no thanks. And I remember feeling peace in my heart at that moment, because it had been the third time, and I said, no, I think it's just not meant to be with this airline, and I think I'm exactly where I need to be. And it's so funny because right after that, I got pregnant with Luca. Well, not right after, I think like within the year or something, I got pregnant with my second baby, Luca, and I cannot imagine having to go through training, through all of that with a newborn baby, and just not having enough seniority with a newborn baby. So I think everything just happened the way it was supposed to be. And then now I have Leo, and now I have the seniority to be able to stay home with my kids as much as I can, and pick up trips, drop trips, and all that. So yeah, that is pretty much the story of how I was rejected from my dream airline, and I still think they're an amazing airline. They're a great airline. However, I just think things happen the way they needed to be, and I wanted to share this story to encourage you guys. Do not give up. If you want to be a flight attendant and a specific airline hires you and that's all you care about, I would encourage you to keep trying. And if you're applying for one specific airline, again, keep trying, and when the time is right, it'll happen for you guys. It will definitely happen when it's meant to happen. And I just, I thought that I would share that with you guys, and I feel like that's just something that can also go with life events and life experiences. If something doesn't work out, keep trying, and if it's meant to be, it'll definitely happen. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video that was a little bit different, and also probably a little bit shorter than I wanted it to be. But let me know if you guys want to hear more story times, what kind of story times you guys want to hear, and I will definitely get around to doing them. Thank you guys so much for watching. Don't forget to subscribe if it's your first time here, and I will see you guys in my next video. Bye guys.
I've been all around the world, every city, every place. Always been a restless girl, but now there's a wind of change.